It's very dark. Hello, mi gente. Wasn't expecting it to be this dark. Hopefully I can change the settings. So, first of all, let's all just take a nice, big, deep breath together. I'm aware that I need to be communicating messages. And there are a lot. There are a lot of messages to be communicated. And so I'm going to be open to receive and then communicate them. And in the meantime, right now, since this video is going to be different, it's not going to be one specific focal point. So really, you are just going to get an array, a rainbow, as SpongeBob does, a rainbow of messages and inspiration or nuggets, I guess you could say. If you didn't know, yesterday, which was June 21st, 2017, was the summer solstice. And, you know, many people know the summer solstice is the longest day of the year. But aside from that, it was and is a gateway. A gateway. And how can I explain that? So, astrologically speaking, you know, when we are speaking about the planets and the stars, you know, everything in the cosmos, they're constantly moving. And when they shift into certain positions, it can create, not can, it does create portals, gateways, and, you know, kind of like the show, oh my gosh, wasn't it called Stargate itself, literally? And they would like go through this portal thing, a gateway. I mean, literally, energetically, alignments in the cosmos open up portals and gateways. And I had heard from, you know, just reading like Elizabeth Peru, great astrologer. She, you know, that is what she's on this planet to do. That's her gift. So I suggest looking her up. Cassidy Kane, who is kind of like an astrologer slash guide for those who have the codes of the twin flame experience and mission. Also look her up. And just my intuition itself felt like it was a gateway, something opening up. And prior to this gateway, there has been a lot happening, right? Whether you are aware of it or not, conscious of it or not, you know, I'm going to try and just like be more closer to the camera since it's lighter this way and you can see my face. I mean, I could stand back here, but I guess I just look like a dark silhouette. A lot has been occurring, you know, and maybe it's milder for some people and more intense for others. But if you start to pay attention, you know, if we're looking externally, right? Externally, what's going on in the world, right? I'm not going to get into politics. That's not really what I meant to do, but you already know if you keep up with that stuff, you know what's going on politically. You know what's going on in the world, what's going on overseas. Okay? On top of all the chaos happening in the country, the United States, and whatever country you are in, I'm sure you are aware of things shifting and not being okay with certain things that are taking place. And what I want to say on that is that a lot of this that's been taking place that you are seeing, I want to let you know that a lot of it has always been taking place. You are just now in a state of more awareness to notice it. And that is part of the ascension process with the human race and the planet itself. It's that every single being is evolving and going through this ascension process of becoming more aware, more conscious, and spiritually awake. Awake to truth, to who they really are, to what you really are. And with that comes, all the fog and smoke and mirrors starts to fade away. You're starting to see what's been playing on right in front of you, and you couldn't see it before because you were accustomed and, going along with what you were taught, what you thought was real, what you thought was right, what was taught to you by the school system, the political system, society in general, your family, your parents. It's just all these different elements of programming, okay? So a lot of people right now, a mass amount of people are actually waking up. And so this appears chaotic because with that comes a lot of emotions. Because during the awakening process, it's you know what I mean? It's disheartening and kind of traumatic to realize you've been lied to, or realize what you have thought was real maybe for your entire life. And if you are older, as in earth years, maybe you are 20 years old, 30 years old, 40, 50, 60, whatever age you are, it's even more shocking, right? Because for that amount of time on the planet, that was your truth, that was your belief. And so when we, truth itself is relief. It will bring peace. It does. It brings peace to the soul. It will, and it does. But in the moment of awakening, it can seem very challenging because you're going to feel all these emotions, and not just awakening in the sense of what's going on the planet and the leaders in place, things like that. We are also, the human race, people, mass amounts of people are waking up, and they're being triggered to feel emotions, memories, and things of the past, not to make you uncomfortable and miserable and depressed, but so that you can face these things that have been stored inside of you, repressed inside of you, because it's time to let it go. It's time to free yourself from the past, from pain, from suffering, from illusions. And with this process that appears and can be perceived as painful and challenging, it's going to bring forth newness and rejuvenation, restoration, a peace that you have never known before, joy and happiness. Take this analogy. You walk into your home And it's just, it's cluttered, it's from stuff of years accumulated over years, knickknacks and clothing, stuff that you don't even know where to put it, papers, files, even dishes, old food. And it's just, it's all over the place. It's been there for years, right? And what comes with all that stuff? Like when you go in a place and it's just like full of stuff, and I know you know what I'm talking about, like the air feels stale and stagnant, kind of stuffy. There may be a smell. Usually there definitely are smells, a lot of dust. And if you're more sensitive and aware, you walk into these places and you kind of feel sick, like your throat and your nose. You might start sneezing. This is your body saying, "Ooh, wow! I need to clear my lungs. I need to clear my body. I'm breathing in something that I don't really like. Let me release it back out." So this is the same with you and your life and your heart, your energy field. So much is accumulated over the years. And what's happening is that the earth is going through a process of cleaning out, purging all the old stuff. We have divine assistants, angels, guides, beautiful beings, and even people here on the planet right now. All of us who are providing messages, we give ourselves these titles so that people can understand, their mind can receive and somehow compute what we do. Humans, the mind likes to categorize and helps it understand things. So, people like us, we give ourselves titles: teacher, healer, guide, practitioner, channel, all these different titles. But we're all here with the overall goal to help the planet, to help the human race through this process of leaving the old programming that has been in place on this planet for a very, very, very long time. And we are actually all in a huge, important process of evolving and upgrading our bodies, the mind, the computer within this body, okay? And just in general, there's a lot of structures in place that are based on old programming, old beliefs, the old paradigm. You're going to hear these terms. It's based on ideas of patriarchy, male dominant, and repressing the feminine. And not literally in the physical sense as in repressing women, but literally repressing the feminine energy within all of us beings. We have masculine and we have feminine. The feminine within us is receptive, feeling, intuitive. Every single one of us has intuition. It's just that the program on the planet wants your intuition repressed. Because this agenda is so that you do not think for yourself and find the answers yourself. The agenda is to follow what is being told to you through media, That means news, TV shows, movies, music, big one, commercials, advertising in every single way. We're bombarded everywhere with advertisements. The political system, everything like that. I know I needed to get that out, so that came out, and this time can seem challenging. This has been happening for years on the planet. I guess you could say I am part of the wave of those that awakened in 2011, 2012. There was a huge mass of people, group, and when this happened, we all kind of somehow found each other. Not every single person of us in this wave found each other, but there were so many of us, so many from this group that did find one another. We started searching because we were becoming aware of what was going on and had all these questions, but also we all had all this knowing immediately returned to us, a remembering. So many of us are starseeds, and if you're a starseed, you already know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, I encourage you to look at my other videos, and I have a playlist specifically for starseeds. What this means is that me, along with many others on this planet, remember, have memory, and have lived on other planes of existence and other star systems. So we have lived in other places other than planet Earth. And good advice. But starseeds, many of us eventually found one another because we always had the knowing and the memory. A lot of us from when we were kids, and then some of us maybe later on in our life, or literally when our activation started, our awakening. The point is we remembered, and that kind of thing is hard to talk about with anybody. And so when I really was like starting to remember stuff from when I was little, I did not know who to turn to. I didn't know who to talk to. So of course I turned to the internet and was like Googling everything, and eventually found people on Facebook and Instagram, and like there were groups or just people, like we somehow found one another through resonance or vibrate. We were all searching as well. So when you put something out into the universe, the laws of the universe, if you put it out, it's the same like energy is attracted back. You attract it back to you. So we found one another. And we have all been helping in our own ways with the talents that we have, the innate talents, whatever we incarnated with, and our past life memories and wisdom that we have trained over many lifetimes and are using it in this lifetime. There is so much wisdom to share in the avenues we all have. We're not all going to do it in the same way. And we have been doing that and helping assist people around us, and even, digitally, online. I mean, thank you for this tool, right? So now I don't have to be in person to talk to you. You are now able to access a link and watch a video that I've published online. And this is how many of us are doing it. YouTube channels, websites, our social media. We use these platforms and tools to reach out and assist anyone who is willing and ready, who resonates. I not really I, yes me, but they want you to think back upon last year and this year. Are you noticing anything? Things speeding up, memories coming back, knowledge coming to you, coincidences, synchronicities, maybe something you realized last year or even a few years ago, and now, in the now moment, it is making sense to you? Or puzzle pieces are starting to fit together. Think back to even the beginning of this year. There's something so different about 2017 than last year. That is because there's something huge taking place on the planet. There's huge changes taking place. The energy is rapidly changing. And Jupiter went direct a few weeks ago on the full moon. Don't know the date, can't remember, not good with time anymore. It's all an illusion, but on paper when you see it. So whatever the last full moon was, Jupiter went direct. And that was like the universe saying, if you had a book, it was like, that's it. Close the book on all that old shit. It's done. And a lot of it had to do with relationships, whether that's with family, friends, your romantic partner, or past. People from your past, okay? A lot of old beliefs, old patterns, triggers. So much was being triggered up until that point of that full moon. And not to make you feel miserable, but for you to be able to see. For you need to be triggered in order for you to feel an emotion. Very important. And then you have to discern why you're feeling this emotion, this feeling. But a lot of people who have not ever had anyone help them understand emotions fully, or even the bigger truth of feelings, which I will definitely have to do videos on, and I hope my partner is really good at talking about this too. So proud of him, and I will encourage him to make videos too, is feelings are telling us something, whether that's coming from an internal place, something within you that you need to see, or maybe you're feeling something from someone else. Like I said, I'll talk about that later, but feelings in general are to tell you something, and they are like I said in another video, they're like your internal system, your antennas, and you have to decide what to do with that emotion, how to channel it. But when these uncomfortable emotions and feelings rise, because that's usually what happens, right? When something from the past, something that was very hurtful and painful, traumatizing, it is excruciatingly uncomfortable to feel it again. And the ego's defense system is to automatically try to push it out of your mind, to repress it, to be like, oh, fuck that, I don't want to think about that. Oh, like you want to run or try to cope. The ego the ego is there because it thinks it's protecting you. So it's one of its ways is run away, fight or flight. A coping mechanism is that addiction. Are there habits you do to cope with something, whether that be food, shopping, mentally checking out and just binging on TV, or sex, just randomly going out and just having sex with a bunch of people, or even the person you're with. I mean, maybe you just want to you just turn to that act. There are so many things like the ego is put in place to make you think that it's going to fix how you feel and how to erase it from your mind so you don't have to think about it, because it's extremely uncomfortable. I know many of you are feeling that. A lot of stuff coming up. Relationships, family, a lot of stuff having to do with family. Elizabeth Peru talked about family karma and breaking patterns within the family. And, that's a whole nother thing to be talked about, because there's a lot of stuff coming forth, even for all of us within our families, truth coming up, and deciding if there is the opportunity to heal something within the family, or if you need to cut ties, if you need to cut bonds, even if for a moment or time, or maybe permanently. And this is not just within family, it's with friends, people in your past, an ex, or maybe a person you're with. Just, there's a lot of things that are needing to be addressed and let go of. And this is all for you and your growth along your process of waking up and healing on your ascension journey. So the planet itself is ascending, the energy on the planet, the grid, and everything is connected. I don't know how to word it. Basically, because human beings are ascending, Earth is ascending. But because Earth is ascending, human beings are also ascending. We are all one. We're all connected energy. So we are affecting one another. And the more of us that wake up and are growing and healing and turning and transmuting our energy into higher vibration, it is causing others around us to then start their process and also raise their vibration. I hope I worded that in a way that is understood. I don't think I've ever really talked about this, so just pardon me and let it flow out. And for those who are meant to watch this and hear, I know you will be here, despite the fact that the lighting was like horrible in the beginning, and I guess it's raining outside and cloudy. It's a very interesting day. Like I said, when Jupiter went direct, it also triggered all that stuff for you to face a lot of things, let go of things, close the chapter on a lot of things. And since then, things have sped up, haven't they? It's like it's powerful, yet it can seem scary. And your ego, for many of you, even me at times, the ego is freaking the fuck out. Because it wants control. It wants to control everything. And the ego's defense is it wants you to be safe, so it wants you to be scared. Therefore, staying in the vibration of fear. So I know many of you are 1 minute feeling fear, and then the next minute maybe neutral, and then all of a sudden you're very optimistic and you're tuned in, and you're seeing signs, you're seeing synchronicities, and you're feeling very high and elevated, and then out of nowhere, oh God, and then oh woohoo. It's okay, because many of us are feeling it, and especially us intuitives who are very tuned in, like I said, the Starseeds, empaths, healers. We are feeling you. We are feeling all of it, and we are helping clear this old, congested, toxic, negative energy. By each and every individual on the planet clearing, we are also clearing for the whole, for everyone. Like I said in my last video, the clarion call to clear parasitic energy. My partner and I were definitely clearing for something that was imprinted within our family lines, the lines we incarnated into, clearing a generational pattern. But then we realized after we were clearing for the collective, for large groups of people. There's a larger agenda that's been at work on this planet, and it's very saddening, very, very, very saddening. But we, along with many others, are clearing for many of you, helping you. You are not alone. You are not alone. And you need to know that. You're not alone. And you don't need to be afraid. Don't be afraid. And it's easier for me to say it to you, don't be afraid. Because when you're feeling it, when you're feeling those emotions, the fear or the anxiety of the unknown or not knowing what's going on or the anger, when you're in it and feeling, it's hard to say, well, just stop being afraid. What I can say to you is think about it. When you face that emotion, that fear, what is it that you're really fearing? What are you afraid of? Literally, fear, the feeling of being afraid, the feeling of fear is just fear. And once you look past it, you go, oh shit, what was I so afraid of? You were just afraid to be afraid. It's just to keep you in this vibration, which is what they want. That is how they can control and manipulate. I will have to talk about that more. I talked a little bit about it in my other video. I don't want to overwhelm you though. This time is very interesting because it's not a sad time, although to many it can feel like it's a sad time. And many of us are actually feeling elated and full of joy. The summer solstice, I think about joy and happiness and celebrating. But on the solstice, I actually had someone very dear to me, very close to me, pass away. And I didn't know how to feel in that moment when I heard about it. And I guess could say I'm very odd when it comes to hearing of someone passing away, leaving the physical plane, their human existence. It was a mix of feelings, but also I knew he's not gone. He's just not in a physical body anymore. He's passed on from this realm to another. But at the same time, I did feel sadness for a few reasons. And then it's just the shock of knowing that they physically won't be here, like right here. I can't like call him up or go visit him or, physically interact. And then I just felt sad for his loved ones. But then I thought, damn it, man, you're a smart soul. Because he chose this gateway. I mean, this is a powerful gateway, a portal. I mean, very powerful. And it's like basically, it's kind of like the analogy of, you could buy a plane ticket to get from, let's say, to get from like California to Australia, right? You could buy a ticket and you have like 2 stops before you get to Australia, and maybe the ride is a bit bumpy. Or you can buy a ticket, straight shot there, and the ride is smooth. Smooth sailing. No obstacles. And when there are gateways that open up, it is much easier for a being, a soul, to transition. And so he literally passed away from here. He transitioned from his physical form, being human, and transitioned out. So it was a smooth ride, I guess you could say. And while it's a sad time for many, for our family, because he is a family member, my cousin. While it's a sad time because physically he's no longer with us, it's also a time of celebration because he's okay. And what I want to say is that there are others that are doing this. And not just during this gateway. There have been other portals and gateways, like back in December, sometime in September. A lot of people passing away during these gateways. And maybe there are others out there during the summer solstice that transitioned out of this realm, this dimension. But there are also souls that are transitioning in, as in being born. A lot of pregnant women, if you haven't noticed. A lot of pregnant women right now. Pay attention to that. A lot of souls coming in. High vibrational, wise souls here to aid this planet and us with the process we are going through. Hell, maybe there are even some walk-ins coming in too. That's a whole nother video and I'm not going to get into that. But I think that's all I want to say for now. And I definitely know, as always, this is meant for certain people. And those who have the ears will hear, will listen. As my beloved once taught us. May the light guide you now and always. Namaste. Mitakoe Oyasin. Aroha Nui.